You blinked, and his name echoed once again to the baseball world. Yasiel Puig, the man who was once hailed as one of the greatest talents of his generation, is breaking his silence once more. And now, amid the noise coming from MLB's backstage, one question is haunting fans and analysts alike. Is the showman who once dazzled Los Angeles about to rehearse his return to the league that made him a star? Just picture it. A packed stadium, lights shining high above, the eyes of the world fixed on the field, and at the center of it all, a player who had seemingly vanished off the radar, ready to step back into the spotlight. Yasiel Puig was never just another name on the lineup card. He was an event. And now, at 34 years old, after a journey that took him from the glory days in Los Angeles to relative obscurity on the field of Korea, he's making noise once again, and the timing couldn't be more intriguing. To understand why this potential comeback is drawing so much attention, we need to rewind the tape, back to 2013, when Puig crossed the ocean from Cuba and arrived in Los Angeles, surrounded by doubt, skepticism, and promises. What happened after that was simply hypnotic. In his first full season, Puig didn't just play baseball. He put on a show with an aggressive swing, a rocket arm, and a level of confidence that bordered on arrogance. Puig redefined what was expected from a rookie. He was a spark that reignited hope for Dodgers fans, who had spent years enduring frustrating seasons, watching other teams lift trophies while the halls of Los Angeles collected only history, not hardware. And for 2 seasons, Puig delivered exactly what he had promised. Highlight reel plays, clutch home runs, and a magnetic charisma that even won over fans who didn't root for the Dodgers. But like every star that shines too bright, his fall was just as striking as his rise. Injuries, public clashes with managers, and a personality that often defied baseball's unwritten rules slowly transformed Yasiel Puig from an icon into a question mark. What had begun as a passionate relationship eventually turned, behind the scenes, into an inevitable divorce. In 2018, after unforgettable moments, including an epic World Series home run against the Boston Red Sox, the Dodgers decided to call it quits. Puig was traded to Cincinnati, and from there to Cleveland. In less than a year, the player once seen as the future of the franchise was now just another trade piece. And it's at this point in the story that things take on a more human, almost poetic tone. Puig didn't give up. Even with the weight of a league that seemed to have forgotten him, he kept moving, playing for clubs in Mexico, Korea, and even the Dominican Republic. Far from the spotlight, he wasn't just chasing another contract. He was chasing redemption. In 2022, during his first year playing the KBO, he even showed flashes of the talent that had once made him famous, posting 21 home runs and an impressive .841 OPS. But time doesn't stop, and every season spent away from MLB feels like another grain of sand falling in an hourglass that refuses to pause. And before we dive even deeper into this story, a story that mixes talent, resilience, and the potential for a cinematic comeback, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This kind of behind-the-scenes look, this dose of context that goes far beyond the headline, you'll only find here. The MLB market is more alive than ever, and at any moment, new names might emerge, or perhaps re-emerge, and you won't want to miss that conversation. Now, back to the present. Recently, Puig posted a video on his social media that reignited a flame many believed had burned out. The video showed a walk-off hit during his time in Korea, playing for the Kiwoom Heroes. But more striking than the play itself was the caption that accompanied the post. Sometimes, as a man or as an athlete, you fight against your own thoughts, and they become so loud that you can't hear anything else. In those moments, I ask God to guide me. In that moment, it wasn't just Puig the athlete speaking. It was Puig the human being, exposing his scars while subtly sending a message. His journey isn't over, and it seems MLB was listening. Sources close to agents and front office executives have confirmed that quiet conversations have started circulating behind the scenes. Puig is reportedly being offered as a low-cost, high-risk alternative, especially for teams seeking depth in their outfield or facing emergencies due to injuries. Franchises like the Marlins and Padres, both known for giving veterans a shot at a comeback, have already been mentioned in the rumor mill. And as unlikely as it may seem, Even names like the Yankees and Mets, who are always on the lookout for intriguing pieces, have shown up on some unofficial shortlists. But this isn't just about numbers. It's not only about how many home runs Puig still has left in him, or what his slugging percentage could be in a competitive lineup. It's about presence. Yasiel Puig is a magnet for the spotlight. His arrival in a clubhouse changes dynamics. Some call it trouble. Others call it fuel. And it's this very question that's now being debated by general managers and analysts all across the league. The rumor mill is heating up. Teams are facing the age-old dilemma. Is the risk worth it? A player who, even at 34, still boasts a powerful arm, a strong defensive presence, and an energy that can electrify any game. On the flip side, it's impossible to ignore his history. The injuries, the controversies, the moments of mental instability. And then there's a simple fact that Puig has been away from MLB for years, a gap very few athletes manage to overcome at the highest level. But let's suppose a team does take that chance. The impact would go far beyond the field. Puig is pure entertainment. He represents the unpredictable. He's the kind of player who makes fans rise from their seats even before the ball leaves a bat. Someone who, even if not in his prime, can inject adrenaline into a locker room that needs a spark of attitude. On the other hand, if no team is willing to bet on him, Puig's story will become a harsh reminder of just how fleeting glory can be in baseball. A narrative about how raw talent isn't always enough to overcome the challenges thrown by time, circumstances, and one's own choices. And now I ask you, does Puig deserve another chance in MLB? Or is his time already behind him? I want to hear your opinion in the comments, because this is one of those debates that splits even the most seasoned baseball minds. In Los Angeles, perfection isn't just a goal, it's the standard. And any flaw, no matter how small, can cost a championship. The city that breeds stars, titles, and expectations seems to already know that on this Dodgers roster, there's no room for weaknesses. But the reality is, even with Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman lighting up the lineup, the Dodgers are still haunted by one uncomfortable question behind the scenes. Who's going to make sure that when October arrives, the outfield won't be the weakest link in this chain? And what if I told you the name that could fill that gap has already started heating up in Seattle, and that a move for him could completely reshape the National League landscape? The name is Randy Arozarena, a familiar face to fans of October, a player who's already been the star of historic playoff nights. And now, with the trade market growing more restless by the day, he could be on the verge of wearing Dodger blue and white. To truly understand the weight of this potential trade, you need to look back in time. The Los Angeles Dodgers aren't just a winning franchise. They are a machine that understands, better than most, the value of getting ahead of the market. From the 1960s, when they went after Maury Wills and Tommy Davis to power a dynasty, to more recent deals like the lightning-fast move for Manny Machado in 2018, or the blockbuster 2021, when Max Scherzer and Tree Turner turned the team into an unstoppable force. These moves have always served the same purpose: to make sure that, come October, there are no doubts, only certainties. Today, with one of the most expensive and talented rosters in franchise history, the pressure isn't any less intense. In fact, it's even higher. The signing of Shohei Ohtani this offseason sent a clear message. The Dodgers are playing to win now, and if the plan is to hoist the trophy, there's no room for error. That's why, when you look at the production from Michael Conforto and Andy Pages in the outfield, the lingering feeling is that something still needs to be fixed. And that's precisely where the rumor comes in, first raised by Drew Von Scio of Newsweek. The journalist was sharp in pointing out that the ideal name to patch this weakness would be none other than Randy Arozarena. But Von Scio's analysis didn't stop at simply recognizing the player's talent. It went deeper, looking at basic statistics, the kind that pop up on any fan screen. Might be misleading. A .212 batting average over his first 66 appearances this season isn't the kind of number that makes anyone's eyes light up. But those who dig into advanced metrics see a completely different story. Arozarena is carrying an OPS plus of 165 in the opening weeks of the season, a hard hit rate over 48%, and an xWOBA of .415, all pointing to the same truth. If luck had even slightly tilted in his favor, he'd already be posting all-star worthy numbers. And more than that, he's been doing what few can when he gets on base. With an OPS of .866, Arozarena becomes lethal whenever he's given a chance. In other words, the right player in the right place at the right time. And the right time for the Dodgers is now. The era of waiting for young talent to blossom is over. The front office has always followed the same blueprint. Invest heavily to assemble a super team, and then fine-tune the roster with surgical precision at the trade deadline. It's a formula that repeats itself year after year, and this season is no exception. Behind the scenes, sources suggest the Dodgers are already monitoring not just Arozarena's performance, but also the market buzz surrounding him. Seattle isn't going to part ways with the outfielder for just any price, especially because despite interest from other franchises, the Mariners aren't under pressure to offload such a valuable piece. Arozarena won't hit free agency until after next season, which means any team that lands him now will get at least a season and a half of the former Rookie of the Year and All-Star services. Behind this equation lies some critical variables. Arozarena's projected market value, likely hovering around a 5-year, $95 million deal when he hits free agency, and the Mariners' desire to stay competitive in an increasingly fierce division race. What makes this negotiation even more complex is the fact that, on the other side, the Dodgers have exactly what Seattle wants: a farm system stacked with young talent ready to take the next step. Dalton Rushing, Josue De Paula, Nick Frasso, names that make scouts and executives dream. Players who could be part of a brilliant future, but who also represent the price that must be paid to chase victory in the present. The dilemma is clear. How far are the Dodgers willing to go to avoid the risk of yet another October disappointment? On the field, Arozarena's impact will be immediate and profound. He wouldn't just raise the outfield defensive ceiling. He'd add a rare element to the lineup: proven postseason experience. And it's not just any kind of experience. Arozarena made a name for himself with his unforgettable 2020 playoff run, where he seemed immune to pressure. His 23 home runs in 2023, combined with his plate discipline and reliable defense, make him a perfect fit for exactly what the Dodgers need. With him on the roster, manager Dave Roberts would gain the freedom to craft more versatile lineups, rotate players without sacrificing offensive firepower, and, most importantly, enter the postseason with an outfield that has no weak links. But if the trade doesn't happen, the risk becomes obvious. Michael Conforto has already proven himself to be a solid player, but far from the type of piece that defines championships. Andy Page is still a developing prospect. In a season where the smallest detail can decide who lifts the trophy, placing your bets on unstable pieces could prove costly. And that's why this rumor isn't likely to fade from the headlines anytime soon. The Dodgers hold all the cards. Either they go all in and secure Arozarena's arrival, or they risk watching another contender cross their path in October with more complete and battle-tested roster. And now I want to hear from you. If you were the general manager, would you give up valuable prospects for Arozarena? Do you believe he's a missing piece that can finally turn the star-studded Dodgers roster into a championship team once again? Or do you think the front office should bet on the development of Conforto and Pages, keeping their assets for an even bigger move down the road? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because the coming weeks promise to be wild, and the behind the scenes of this negotiation are only just beginning. And in the next video, I'll tell you all about who could be the Dodgers' plan B if the Arozarena move doesn't become a reality. So make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and hit the notification bell, because the MLB trade market is about to explode, and you won't want to miss a thing.